Hey everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and tonight I am getting started on collecting seeds. Now I'm going to be collecting seeds from all of the plants that you see here. Poppies, Larkspur, Nigella, Bachelor buttons, barley, wheat, oats, really the list goes on and on. Tonight I'm going to get started with poppies, and that process is really quite simple. Basically, you're just looking for pods that are beige and have the tiny little windows that are already open. That's the sign that they are ready to be put upside down into a bucket so that the seeds can fall out and they can continue to dry. Here you can see those two. Lots of poppy seeds. I'm just gonna drop them in there, and really probably next week I will come through and tap all of these really hard and try to clean them out. Ultimately, I will bundle these dry poppy pods and use them for decoration. And then all of the seed that I'm collecting, you can see all that seed, will get stored in the refrigerator as a pre-stratification for the rest of the summer. And here you can see a pod that is ripe and ready. That is good. Right next to it, this is not ready. You see how it's green and you don't see the little windows. So leave these be. That's why gathering the seed is actually something that usually takes somewhere between a week to 3 weeks long. The extreme heat that we're experiencing right now is really great because it's going to accelerate the dry out process for all of these seeds. As you can see, the Larkspur is still in full bloom. So those are going to be the last seeds I collect. However, there are some ripe Larkspur throughout the garden, and I will begin collecting those. Well, you can see just from this south-facing area of my foundation landscape, I harvested all of these poppy pods, and that resulted in a lot of poppy seeds. But I know from experience that what falls out right now isn't the end. So you're better to leave these upside down in your bucket for at least a week, usually longer than that. That way you'll know that they'll be clean enough and they won't make a huge mess if you bring them inside to use for decoration. Again, I say this from experience. I'm always amazed at poppy pods that are 6 months old, and if I, set them down on my countertop, all these seeds come out. It's kind of like the never-ending supply. But I can actually hear there's still seeds in these because they're shaking. So definitely best just to cut them and let them dry upside down to continue releasing their seeds. So as you can see in this bucket, I have quite a few seeds. I'm going to pull out any small things. Those are just dried leaves. That's precisely why I like to cut the poppy stalks right at where their first leaf is. That way we really reduce any sort of extra material getting mixed in with the seeds. And my preferred approach for storing them is just Tagliente gelato containers. It's like the one type of, well, it's not ice cream, it's gelato. It's the one type of frozen deliciousness that I'm not allergic to. So I'm gonna just fill this up, and it'll be kind of interesting to see how many poppy seeds we have just from about 5 minutes worth of collecting poppy pods. So there's more seeds in this bucket. I'm just gonna transfer all these pods back into the large white container. And literally as I did that, I could see more seeds just coming out. It's usually at least a 2-week process to have these turned upside down. And usually during the heat of the day, I pull them outside and put them in full sun so they dry that much faster. So as you can see, I've got a good amount of poppy seeds in here, but there's some Bachelor buttons mixed in for some reason. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate those. I have a bucket here of Bachelor button seeds that I gathered earlier today. And I didn't really clean them. I just literally plucked the dried flowers off of the stalk. But I think between these two buckets, we're already gonna have the first jar of seed. And I have a whole yard to still collect from. So that's good. That's good news for everybody who wants to grow poppies next fall. I should have ample supplies. Remember, I only sell my seed at in-person events. I am not in the mail order business. So, oh yeah, this is definitely gonna fill this one. I might need another. Wow. Look at that. One full jar from that many seed heads. There's like 20 times this many in the yard to still harvest. We're off to a great start. Okay, now that I have the lid on, I am going to write on the jar, Poppies 2022, just so there's no question what it is, what year I collected these. And now they're gonna go into the refrigerator, not the freezer. This is important. Seeds are best stored in the refrigerator. They like dark, dry, and cool conditions. This is why I like using these Tagliente jars, because they fit perfectly on the shelves. And they're really efficient use of space, because of course that's a lot of seeds in each one of these containers. So they're gonna stay in the refrigerator all summer long. I won't pull these out until October, when I then will put them into smaller packages to be available for sale. I typically sell 1 ounce containers for $5 a piece. And I will do the same for the Larkspur, the Bachelor buttons, and all of the other awesome cottage garden flowering plants that you grow from direct seeding each fall. Now, I know that I will have more Bachelor buttons than any rational person will know what to do with. And it was really funny, as I was collecting these, I noticed for every one that I was collecting, like at least 10 seeds were falling to the ground. And that's precisely what I love so much about Bachelor buttons and Larkspur. They self-sow really easily, and I don't have to keep reseeding them every year. Unlike poppies, they don't care if their seed gets buried, but they won't germinate until the soil temperatures are cool enough. And that's really the trick with this cottage garden style, and especially for people living in, warmer climates like me here in Zone 7 in North Carolina. These plants don't make it through the heat of the summer. They have to be treated as cool season annuals, which means you sow them in late November, early December. They grow all winter. They flower starting in April, flowering all through May, and then usually the beginning to middle of June is when the seeds ripen and you can harvest them. And that goes for poppies, Larkspur, Nigella, Bachelor buttons, all of the grains, and many of the greens, including mustard and kale, which are also on my to collect list. Well, I hope you'll tune in tomorrow when I post another how to gather seeds video. These are going to be a little bit redundant, but I find that it helps for people to see the process over and over again. That way you gain confidence and you realize that seed saving is something that absolutely everyone can and should be partaking in. Well, I hope you found this to be helpful. Be sure to subscribe so that you can keep up with all that I have going on here in my garden. Thanks for watching, everybody.